NPR CEO Vivian Schiller resigns after a former NPR executive is caught on camera sharing his true feelings about the Tea Party. Listen.
The Republican Party is not really the Republican Party. It's been hijacked by this group that basically they believe in sort of white middle America gun-toting. I mean, it's pretty scary. They're seriously racist.
Seriously racist people, right? Well, so is it finally time to pull the plug on federal funding for NPR, as that character is actually recommended? For a fair and balanced debate, Fox News contributor Andrea Tantaros, sitting patiently wide right, and sitting in the middle, Democratic strategist David Mercer. David, embarrassing. Is this enough for the administration to get behind pulling the plug, and the Democrats in Congress?
Brian, it is embarrassing, and it's embarrassing for Schiller, but I think that's where it ends. And we have to look at the track record in the 40-plus years and the history of NPR as one of the most trusted news sources in America, even by Tea Party account, and their coverage of Tea Party or others. So I think this is somebody who has embarrassed himself, suffering the consequences of it, but those consequences should not be shared by an institution such as NPR and its track record.
Not just somebody, right, Andrea?
Well, let's look at their track record that David mentioned. I mean, you have Nina Totenberg talking about how she believes years ago that Jesse Helms, she was wishing that he would die from AIDS. I mean, this is an organization that needs to come to terms with its overt, outspoken prejudice towards anybody and everybody that feels differently than they do. And they're an organization that takes taxpayer money, and with a name like National Public Radio, when they're not just outrightly disrespecting a majority of the American public, I mean, they are demeaning evangelicals. They were talking down about Jews. They were talking down about the Tea Party. We're not demonizing Big Bird when we say cut the funding. But this organization, as Ron Schiller said, doesn't need the funds. We don't have the money. It's time they grow up and go out on their own.
And Bird and Ernie aren't even talking. More on that later.
Yeah, no comment.
Hey, I got to tell you, David, the president not only is supporting it, I think they've even recommended an increase in funding.
They have recommended an increase in funding because, contrary to what Andrea just mentioned, it's not they, NPR, that has been associated with the remarks of Schiller. It's Schiller himself. And Nina may have had a comment or two, but overall, the history is one of the fair and balanced news sources there is. And he feels, and the administration feels, that that kind of track record needs to have the backing, if not support. But I also may point out that about 6% of their funding comes from the public, and it's a public-private partnership.
Let me ask you this, David. Do you think it's appropriate for the president of NPR, Vivian Schiller, and Ron Schiller to go to lunch, let's say no comments were made, with two members of the Muslim Brotherhood, a group that has proven ties to Hamas and Hezbollah, which are groups that our State Department deems terrorist organizations? Do you think that's wise?
Of course, no one's approving of the behavior, Andrea, but it doesn't associate with NPR to penalize them.
It sure does.
Andrea, no wonder you're turning into a fine talk show host. You just asked a great question, and that has to be the final question. David, Andrea, good job.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.